So she started driving the car, y'all. Started pushing on the car. And then the tires fired up. And when the tires fired up, the car started working. Then she passed the car. Yeah, for real. That's progress right there. I'll take it. I'll take it.
We're at Poplar Bluff, Missouri. First time racing here this year for both of us, really. You haven't been out.
Well, I'm not racing tonight, so.
No, you're not racing tonight. So
I'm here. Yeah, I haven't been up here this year until tonight. I like this track. Poplar Bluff Motorsports, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Good track. New owners, I think this is their second year. It's a good track. Really enjoy coming up here. Good group of folks.
Yep. So this will be my third race.
This is your third race, yeah.
Let's see how it goes. So I think you probably got some more weight added since you stole more weight for your car.
Added some weight to the car, changed out the rear shocks on the car, dropped the left rear bite on the car some, took a little bit of rear steer out of the car. We had a little left rear lead in the car, a little more than I think it needed. We took some of that out. Made several changes. We'll see if it helps.
Factory stocks. You are last because we are going to pump at the end. So you, top 5, will be down here at the scales.
Are we pumping all 5?
Top 5.
Pumping top 5.
Top 5.
Well, when you stepped in it, you were cocking the wheel over, right?
Yeah, I was turning.
And it wasn't turning, right?
I was cocking it up to the wall.
Yeah, I saw. Well, that shock there ain't gonna be, that's way too much. So, I took bite out of the car and then turned around and put some of it back with the way I did the shock, but that ain't gonna work, hon. She gotta come off there. Don't worry, I can fix that. I took the bite out of the car. The bite needed to come out of the car. I put it back in gas. But I've got compression. I've got compression in the shock to slow that down. But it's still overpowering. She's moving too slow. It's overpowering. This shock right here is an oil shock. You don't have what that shock's got. It'll get that extra pressure off of it, which will truly get her down on the bike. And then I'm gonna put a 1-inch in the right now. Dude, we gotta get the car turned. Tonight we gotta get this car turned. So we freed the car, we loosened the car up, okay? Changed back the shock, the other one. So the car should turn. Like I said, just brake harder and harder if on entry. If the car's still not wanting to rotate, just come down on that brake harder, until you start getting that rear end to turn. And remember, throttle. So as you apply the throttle, if she's pushing, crabbing out on you, sometimes you come on down on that throttle and she'll bring it on around. It'll bring it on around on that right rear. It'll push it on around. You put that 1-inch spacer on that right rear. So that's going to help for you when you throttle up to help drive the car on around.
Okay.
All right, so you may be able to throttle. Don't just assume that you've got to brake and creep along. Come up on that throttle and push through. We're going to get the car rotating tonight, one way or the other. from pushing,
Yeah.
and then it started working.
Yeah, and I could also tell since you made those adjustments how much the car actually grips when you're going into the turn.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Except for that part where you ran over the whole group going in. Like, they all checked up and brake checked about the time you picked the throttle up.
I know. I hit number 5. I was like, dang.
No, it was 21, I think you
No,
did.
I hit number 5.
Oh,
I
did
know
you hit
it
number
was.
5? Anyway, I
I'm
don't
sorry,
think
number
told me
5, if you're watching this. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I tried to brake. Not fast enough. So.
Yeah.
I was watching ahead of me, like I was supposed to. But I hit them.
Yeah, all the tires are warm about the same.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. That means they're all, but here, I want you to do this right quick. Take your hand, walk around, lay your hand on every one of these tires.
Okay.
And walk the whole way around the car.
That one's definitely warm.
Yeah, of course.
That one's warm.
Okay, so what that's telling you is all 4 of these tires warmed up. Okay, and they're all close. They're all within 10 degrees of each other. Which tells you, you got the car, the tires, all the tires started working together, which means we're close on setup.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we spaced that right rear out, and once that right rear tire warmed up, it started bringing you around. You was on the throttle and it started bringing you around. Now, did you see how you were having to tiptoe into the turn?
Yeah.
That's not the car, that's the track.
Okay.
Track's completely black slick. There's nothing there.
Okay.
Everybody was tiptoeing in.
Okay.
And you were picking up. In other words, you started actually moving forward again. You understand?
Yeah, I felt that.
So like there's nothing to do to the car because of that. That's where we got to start learning about the brake bias. Because like, in other words, like when you got on the brakes, if you felt that tail shaking out on you more than you wanted, you'd need to take and, go around in, another round in. And how did it feel to you? How was the
The brake felt really good to me as far as when I would come off the throttle a little bit and go into the brake, I felt the car settle and then get back into the gas and it
But you didn't feel like the tail went out?
No, if I throttled too hard, I felt it go, but I would split up a little
but like
bit.
on the entry, when you would initially, when you initially enter in,
honestly, entry felt great.
So we're not going to touch the brake bias. We got 2 rounds to the rear. We're going to leave the brake bias alone on the rear.
It was more or less getting back on the throttle in the turn and coming back out. It felt like I was getting a little all over the place, whatever. I really had to be
I've got the car back on. I've got the car freed up a lot.
I had to be real easy getting back on the throttle because I felt like I was losing control a little bit.
Right. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I would rather leave you free and loose like that and the car be drivable tonight and you get comfortable and get some confidence. Let's leave that spacer in that right rear, even though the track is slick, okay? So even though the track's slick, let's leave that spacer in the right rear, keep that right side heads up, okay? Because you know what it's gonna do now.
Yeah.
And the track is, it's slick right now.
Right.
So it's not gonna get slicker. These 30-35 tires I got you on, these things right here I got from Barry have only been through a practice. Once they get really hot, the car's gonna tighten up.
Okay.
You don't need no fuel.
So real quick, we thought everything was great, and I just happened to be standing by the car, and I realized that the front right rim was bent. So we're changing out the tire right now. We're putting a new one on, making sure that the same setup is on there that I had before, because all the tires were getting heaved to them. So we know that all tires were getting bite. So Jason's changing it out right now. Are you making any adjustments?
The only thing I did, I went from about 14.5 pounds of air on the right front to about 13. And we still picked up about 1/4 inch of stagger. And I'm just trying to not gain too much stagger because I'm trying to just make the car exactly where it was in the heat. The track was slick in the heat. The car started working. I'm trying to give you the same car again, you know? You know, the tires are going to have to warm up a little bit before the car is going to really start working well. So you're on the inside, stay on the inside, give the car a lap or two with the tires warm, and you'll feel it, right? You felt it before when they warmed up. And so as those tires warm up, you're going to be able to start pushing a little more, a little more, a little more. And then, like, you know, you see somebody, you can run past them. Remember, don't run up into their bumper on them. You know, you got to have a hole either below them or above them. You know, run past them on entry. Pass cars, you pass them. Just throttle up and drive off. Beat them off the course. So, you'll be fine. The car's going to come to you. Might not at first, might push a little at first, but the car's going to come to you. You've already seen the heat. You know it's weird. All right. entry into this corner looked great tonight. So like you were rolling in, and like it was, and you'll see it in the film, but like when you were entering the turn, you would close up a 50-foot gap.
Oh, I know.
Without any problem at all. Like the car rolling into the turn really works. And it was, and I would swear, and maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like that if you had gotten on the throttle, like if you had got, like in other words, how do I describe it? So it looked like that you rolled in and you really pulled forward, and then there was a delay before I would see the car kind of pick up and sit on the right rear. And it was like once you started accelerating, the car would start steering. And it's like, and so in my mind I was thinking, you know, if she had maybe slowed down a little bit sooner and rolled, and when she rolled in, like actually picked the throttle up quicker. Because like you would go through that hole and then you were trying to pick up the throttle, and it's like you were kind of chasing it. You were chasing it.
Yeah, it's because like all the other racers, you could tell, were racing differently than me.
Yep.
I was more speed all the way down into the turn or whatever, and I had to slow down so much when I got into turn 1 or turn 3 that I had trouble, that I needed to get back on. I had to wait and get back on because it looked like I was about to hit everybody. So
yeah, you were. Yeah, I mean, it would just look like you were. It looked like you were rushing them. You were braking earlier. They were running later and then braking at the last second, and then you were braking earlier, but then you were like carrying more speed, but then you weren't braking, and that's the thing. It's because it was freaking me out a little bit, because it's like you had already braked, and then they're slamming on your brakes, and it's not like you're waiting to brake. It's like that's your entry speed. Yeah. And then they're brake checking in front of you. And
I could hold the car and turn with that speed. It felt good because I did it in the heat a couple of times. Yeah. But the cars, we were too close together there, and I just couldn't. I had
finding the holes.
I had to pull back.
Right. In other words, like when you roll up on them, you've got to like have planned to, like, there's a gap where you can like shoot by them.
Right. And I knew,
instead of just roll up on their bumper and hit the brake.
And I knew that it felt good down on the lower part of the track or whatever. It felt good there because the top part of the track kind of had some loose dirt, so I tried to stay at the bottom, but I knew I couldn't get around the cars, so I tried to go higher. But when I did, you run into the hole on turn 1 every time, and I was afraid. And as soon as I hit turn 1, and then I was afraid my tire would hit here on turn 2.
Well, when it would unload, so when it would unload, you get a push pull, you know, and everything. And I mean, you were handling it. I mean, it was like you were driving it out of the car, right? But it was unloading your rear end, and so you were losing your bike. Down on this other end, you were just catfishing. You were sticking to the bottom, but it was working. The car was turning. It looked fine. Car looked great tonight.
It did.
It did. It kind of once the tires warmed up and everything, I think we're close. And you know, I'm looking at it, and I had put a 25-pound block on the right front. Be honest, I might go to a 40. Because I think that really helped you when you rolled into the turn. That was helping the car from sitting down on you. It was helping to keep the car over on its nose. And so I think that was helping you. So I may go up to a 40. You know, and we left that right rear spacer in all night long. It's what you needed. I ran the right side tires heads up on the car, and that's what you needed. Yeah. I think if anything that would have helped tonight is that exact setup, but instead of an 1.5 inch stagger, if I'd have had 2 inches or 2.5 inches of stagger, because you were rolling through the turn, and so if I had just put more rollout difference between the back tires, you probably could have just picked the throttle up and went around the turn better. That probably would have helped. You were capable of passing some cars if you, it's just an experience thing.
It is. It is.
You were there. You were fine.
Like I said,
they had guys that were running up front, and they would put them in the back there. You know, they'd spin out and do things, and then they were no faster than you. They were no faster than you.
I was
and I'm
keeping
like,
up with one of them from the front. Yeah.
So you were. So
I couldn't find the hole in going on the high side though.
So here's what I say. That was your 3rd race. You actually were racing tonight. This is the first time we've actually raced. That's tonight. So
first time racing.
First time racing.
And it looks like they have the
we need to go get paid. What'd you finish?
I finished here we have, I finished number 8 out of 14.
14. So there you go. Third race, 8 out of 14. Not a mark on the car. Are you subscribed? Because like you're going to see nothing but Rachel go forward all summer long. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, because this is good stuff, folks.
It is, y'all.
All right, see you next time.
See ya.